Well, good morning and welcome to Northern Light Center for Spiritual Living. Northern Light Center for Spiritual Living is a community of people dedicated to using spiritual and practical principles to create lives we want to live. Northern Light Center for Spiritual Living offers practical and spiritual tools to make positive changes in our lives. And our promise to reveal, inspire, uplift, celebrate, and magnify your greatness. We acknowledge our presence here on the traditional and unceded lands of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish and Coastal Salish peoples whose identities were taken into the Muckleshoot tribe with federal treaties. These people are still here, and we join with them in how they continue to honor and bring to light their ancient heritage. We seek to resist the erasure of indigenous histories as we work towards honoring and inviting the truth. And this is adapted from the Duwamish Tribal Land Acknowledgement. We also acknowledge how much of what we know in this country today, including culture, economic growth and development throughout history and across time, has been made possible by the labor of enslaved Africans and their descendants who suffered the horrors of transatlantic trafficking, chattel slavery, and Jim Crow. We also name the Asian and Chicano people who toil with little recognition. We are indebted to their labor and their sacrifice, and we acknowledge the tremors of that violence throughout the generations and the resulting impacts that can still be felt and witnessed today. And this comes from T.J. Stewart. Please join me for our opening song, In This Very Room, by Ron and Carol Harris. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough peace and quite enough power to walk through our every fear. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, is in this very room. In this very room.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
And thanks for being here. We're going to get ready for this morning's meditation. So allowing yourself to get comfortable in your seats. Having feet firmly planted on the floor. Hands in your lap in an open and upright position. And allowing your eyes to close. And so let us take 3 deep cleansing breaths in and out together. So let's breathe in and letting it go. Breathe in again. And letting it go. And one more time in. And letting it go. And just doing a quick survey of your body. Seeing if there's any place that's holding on. And if you find such a place, just say relax, release, and let go. Just allowing yourself to be in a very relaxed, very comfortable state. And so this morning, we're going to contemplate love. Let us start with contemplating love of self. How does loving ourself show up? How are we expressing love of self? How could we love? How can we love ourselves more? So be with this idea of loving self. How can I love myself more? I am so deserving of love. I'm choosing to love myself more. And so in loving myself more, I'm able to love others more. And so let us be with that thought of how can I love others more? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? In loving myself more, it allows me to love others more. How is that showing up? How can you express that? It's more full, more completely. And now see the word love in front of you in large, bold letters. Just bright, brilliant. And allow yourself to now jump into that word. Allow yourself to just simply be immersed in that word completely. From the bottom of your feet to the top of your head, just see yourself wrapped in this bright, bold love. And feel that love. Experience that love. And know that love is the love you have for self. And so as we come back into this room, we come back with the knowingness that we are loved, that we love ourselves, and in loving ourselves, we love others. So take that love into your day, into your life. And so it is. So this morning's reading comes from my phone. And it was funny because it's a post on LinkedIn.
Oh.
Which, who would have thought it, right? I wouldn't. And it starts with a quote by Joel Osteen that says, "The prerequisite to loving others is to love yourself. If you don't have a healthy respect for who you are, and if you don't learn to accept yourself, faults and all, you will never be able to properly love other people." And the title is Learn to Love Yourself First Before Loving Others. And I know I'm going to mess up this person's name, but it's Gagon Holdra. That's my version of it. That's probably not his version. Here we go. A well-known proverb that emphasizes the significance of self-care, self-acceptance, and self-esteem is establishing successful relationships with others is to learn to love yourself before loving others. The ability to build and maintain satisfying connections with others can be considerably improved by having a positive relationship with oneself, even though it may not be a strict necessity. The following are some benefits of learning to love yourself. 1, self-worth and assurance. When you love yourself, you come to understand your own worth and gain confidence. Instead, than looking for approval or relying on other people to boost your self-esteem. This enables you to approach relationships from a position of stability and confidence. 2, boundaries and self-respect. Loving yourself entails knowing your worth in relationships and establishing appropriate boundaries. Ooh, that word boundaries. You gain the ability to express your needs, set limits, and make decisions that are in line with your well-being. 3, emotional health. By practicing self-love, you can establish a loving and understanding connection with your emotions. Bless you.
Thank you.
You become more aware of your needs, wants, and feelings, and can respond to them in a positive and healthy way. You are able to negotiate relationships more skillfully when you are emotionally well. 4, genuineness and acceptance. When you love yourself, you accept the whole of you, of who you are, including your flaws, strengths, and defects. This self-acceptance enables you to present yourself in relationships genuinely, building real connections and drawing in companions who value you for who you are. 5, less reliance on other people. Loving oneself implies realizing that fulfillment and pleasure come from inside. Relationships can be a source of happiness and friendship, but they shouldn't be your only source of fulfillment. Loving yourself makes you more or less reliant on other people for approval and fulfillment, which can foster healthy and more harmonious relationships. It's crucial to remember that developing self-love is a lifetime process that may require self-examination, self-reflection, and self-care activities. Never forget that developing self-love is a necessary first step towards creating stronger, more rewarding relationships with others rather than being selfish. And so it is.
So it is. We'll do the declaration.
Declaration, yes.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
So our community declaration, we are an expanding and loving community working in a field of infinite potential. We are an expanding and loving community working in a field of infinite potential. And one more time, we are an expanding and loving community working in a field of infinite potential. And so it is. Here are the words again for this month's chant. If I accept God as the highest and best, do I accept me as the highest and best? Do I respect me as the highest and best? Do I express me as the highest and best? Do I love me with my whole heart? Do I love me with every part? Do I love me with my whole mind? Do I love me all of the time? Doesn't fit or doesn't go too far from what Stephanie was talking about this morning. So please join me as you would like, or just be sung to. I accept God as the highest and best. Do I accept me as the highest and best? Do I respect me as the highest and best? Do I express me as the highest and best? Do I love me with my whole heart? Do I love me with every part? Do I love me with my whole mind? Do I love me all of the time? Now if you accept God as the highest and best, do you accept you as the highest and best? Do you accept you as the highest and best? Do you express you as the highest and best? Do you love you with your whole heart? Do you love you with every part? Do you love you with your whole mind? Do you love you all of the time? Now if we accept God as the highest and best, do we accept us as the highest and best? Do we respect us as the highest and best? Do we express us as the highest and best? Do we love us with our whole heart? Do we love us with every part? Do we love us with our whole mind? Do we love us all of the time? Now we've been asking these questions, now finally there's your statements. I accept God as the highest and best. I accept me as the highest and best. I respect me as the highest and best. I express me as the highest and best. I love me with my whole heart. I love me with every part. I love me with my whole mind. Yes, I love me all of the time. Yes, I love me all of the time.
Okay. You. Do.
Well, you know those times when you feel like there's a sign there on your back. Says I don't mind if you kick me. Seems like everybody has. Things go from bad to worse. You think they can't get worse than that, and then they do. You step off the straight and narrow and you don't know where you are. Use the needle of your compass to sew up your broken heart. Ask directions from a genie in a bottle of Jim Beam and she lies to you. That's when you learn the truth. If you're going through hell, keep on going, don't slow down. If you're scared, don't show it. You might get out, for the devil even knows you're there. I've been deep down in that darkness. I've been down in my last match. Filled 100 different demons, breathing fire down my back. And I knew that if I stumbled, I'd fall right into the trap that they were laying. But the good news is there's angels everywhere out on the street, holding out a hand to pull you back up on your feet. The ones that you've been dragging for so long, you're on your knees, you might as well be free. Guess what I'm saying? If you're going through hell, keep on going, don't slow down. If you're scared, don't show it. You might get out, for the devil even knows you're there. Yeah, if you're going through hell, keep on moving, face that fire. Walk right through it, you might get out, for the devil even knows you're there. Ooh. If you're going through hell, keep on going, don't slow down. If you're scared, don't show it. You might get out, for the devil even knows you're there. Yeah, if you're going through hell, keep on moving, face that fire. Walk right through it, you might get out, for the devil even knows you're there. Yeah, you might get out, for the devil even knows you're there. Yeah.
You knew that song, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, good morning, Northern Light.
Good morning.
It's good to see you all. Good morning, Mike. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Stephanie. As usual, Stephanie has been right on. The Science of Mind title of this talk was Love Thy Neighbor. And as I was writing up, looking at actually how I was going to approach it, I was like, and first we have to have a solid love for ourselves, because if we are trying to love other folks when we don't love ourselves, it's like we don't have anything to give. So we have to love ourselves, and loving ourselves is a continual process, and we've been talking about that. It's an ongoing journey. It doesn't happen overnight. Now, I know you're wondering what that song has got to do with
Yes, I was.
loving your neighbor and or loving yourself. Well, it's all about the latter. This song I heard I was gonna say 100 years ago, but many, many years ago, and it just caught my attention because it's so graphic. If you're going through hell, don't build a condominium. Don't decide, okay, this is where I am, this is how it is, I'm in hell, I give. And there's the part where he says, there's these devils waiting for you to step off the track so they can get you. You know, we don't believe in hell and we don't believe in devils, but I'll tell you, we do go through hell in our own lives, in our own minds, and in our own experience when we choose to do so. Now, stuff happens. We all end up in places where life looks a little hellish, actually. It's not what we chose. And so that song I get to always hold on to. Keep on going, don't look back. If you're scared, don't show it. You might get out before the devil even knows you're there. You might get out of this before it has a chance to actually collapse you and your life. And then the whole song leads to the last part, which I love. There are angels all over the street holding out a hand to help you back up. And the thing about those angels, however you define angels, is that there's help all around us. There are people who care. There is spirit speaking in little ways to us all along the road. And I always say, well, if when I'm looking for a sharp pencil and I can't find a sharp pencil anywhere, and then when I give up, I find a sharp pencil, I think, that's Spirit's way of saying, I've got you. I got you. And we so often think that we are totally responsible for making everything happen. We are going to carve, plow, jab what we want out of life, rather than saying, okay, I got help. I got help. So those angels, I always say God shows up through people. But God shows up through situations, through experience. God can show up through a bird or the weather. These angels, in some form or another, are all around us. The title of my talk is Be a Bother, and it's connected to self-love. And part of self-love is asking for what you need, asking for what you want, being open to receiving it, being open to taking care of yourself. Just yesterday I was in a workshop and we were doing a role play. We were demonstrating it for the people on the Zoom. And I played a person who wanted to take a vacation with my friend, but she wanted to go to the mountains and I wanted to go to the beach. So we were using the tools we were teaching to work that out. And at the end, one of the participants said, that was too easy. We wanted to see something where you really had a difference. Here's the interesting thing. Those pieces that I use to make the role play real were actually real pieces. I've had situations where my friend wanted to go to the mountains, I wanted to go to the beach. And what the participant said was, I gave in too easy. And I thought about it, and I thought, you know, I did give in too easily, and I frequently do. I have, although there are people who would argue with me, I have a tendency to put others' needs before my own. I don't want to be a father. It's okay. I'll suck it up. I'll take the lion's share, and I'll go to the mountains with you, and I'll walk half a mile with you. Or I'll read a book while you go to the mountains. But I thought, you know, sometimes I make it too easy. Sometimes, because I don't want to be a father, I don't actually ask for what I need. And I know I'm not the only one. I recently saw a science fiction movie where a company advertised for older people to go on a space trip. And they asked for senior citizens who were near the end of their life and who weren't going to be interested in coming back, who were willing to go out to space to die. So this woman signed up, and they put her in a cute little red jumpsuit, did her hair all up, put cameras in the space capsule, and they had an artificial intelligence named Tim, which stood for some sort of technical blah, 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 and called him Tim. And he talked to her, and he asked her to talk about her life. I'm going to spoil this movie for you. At the very end, she realizes that all her life, she didn't want to be a father. And she realizes that there was a person who could have been the love of her life, but she didn't want to be a father. So she never opened herself up to the interest he was showing in her, because she thought, for some reason, she would be a father. When she realized that she had gone her whole life trying not to upset people, not to be a bother, not to ask for too much, she realized she had asked for too little. And she said to the AI, can we turn this thing around? I want to go back home and do it all over again. I don't care if I'm 78. And the movie ended.
Oh, wow.
We don't know if she turned it around.
Mood.
But it stuck with me. This disinclination to be father. And I did ask myself, where am I doing that? And then the universe being the universe, gave me all kinds of opportunities to see how I do that. We had an example of someone not wanting to be a father in my family. My father spent 4 hours on the floor, unable to get up, unable to get himself up. And he didn't tell the person who first called him that he was still on the floor. He just told her he'd fallen and he couldn't come to ukulele group because he didn't feel up to it. She texted me and said, your dad fell, and he said he's not up to coming to ukulele group. Just thought you'd like to know that. I called him and he said, yes, I fell, but I'm fine. I think I have a little bit of a hurt in my side, but I'm good. I was on Whidbey Island. I decided to rush right over. Something told me I need to see him. He may be in pain and he's not telling me, or I don't know, I can't take his word for it on the telephone. But I was 2 hours away. So I called my sister's family and I got my niece. And I said, I'm on my way, but somebody needs to be there now to make sure that Dad's okay. So she said, sure, Auntie. She got her sister, they rushed out there. I called Dad back and I said, Pamela and Felisa are on their way. And he said, okay, I'll open the garage door for them. But oops, he was still on the floor. How's he gonna get to the garage door? Don't know. He didn't tell me he was still on the floor. Pamela and Lisa got there and they managed to get in, he was still a He didn't want to be a father. My heart still beats fast when I think about that. How often do we go to that extreme because we don't want to be a father? So, being a father means asking for what you need. Taking care of yourself means asking for what you need. Now, we have all kinds of reasons, and I think I've even talked about how I don't like to ask for what I need because I don't want to be a father. Who knows? Also, I've been afraid that if I ask for what I need, someone will say no, and I will disintegrate on the spot. My feelings will be hurt. I'll feel like nothing, unworthy, unloved. And I'll believe that nobody's willing to say yes. So I won't ask for what I need. And then there's other reasons too. Well, it might be too expensive. I need to save my money. They don't want to be bothered. But I have friends who ask for what they need. I had one friend, and I believe I may have told you about this before, who wanted to borrow my vacuum cleaner in California. And she asked me to bring it over because for some reason, I don't remember what, but she did have a working car, so I don't remember. So I said, yeah. She said, well, you're gonna be on your way over here anyway, so would you bring it? And then when she was finished using it 2 weeks later, two weeks,
Wow.
she said, you can come get your vacuum cleaner now.
Oh.
I was ready to kill her. Picked up my vacuum cleaner, and I warned our other friends, if Ellen asks you to use your vacuum cleaner, please know she will ask you to bring it and she'll ask you to take it back. Know that's what you're dealing with. And this wasn't the only thing. I had seen her ask for what she needed anytime, anywhere, no matter what. But when it got to my that vacuum cleaner, that was it. So there are people out there who go right ahead and ask for what they need and they get it. That could be us. Now, I'm not saying use people and walk over people and step on people and be and ignore what they might need. But I imagine that we can ask for what we need. And you know what else? If somebody's asking us for what they need and that's not something we can supply, we can sweetly say, no can do. It's okay. It's okay. And if somebody does that to us, it's not what they can supply. It's not the end of the world. We won't disintegrate. Can ask somebody else. Or we can mitigate and negotiate. It isn't a black or white, yes or no kind of a thing. I did find that if I can't get what I first need, that maybe we can negotiate around how I can get my needs met and you can get your needs met too. Now, in the middle of this, I want to remind us all, because I have to remind myself on a regular basis, because my tendency is actually, my default behavior when I'm going through hell is to try to do it all myself, to try to fix it myself, to forget that I've got help beyond my hands and my brain. I've got help beyond my friends and associates and people who fix cars and fix people. I've got help beyond that. We have this other help that's all around and in and through us. I remind myself frequently, you are a science of mind practitioner. You practice the beliefs that we co-create with this intelligence that's bigger and stronger and more creative and has created everything that there is, including the circumstances we're sitting in. This creative force has said, okay, this is what you want in your life, here you go. But it's like that saying that says, rather than run from the rain, I'll learn to dance in it. That's not the direct quote, but that's what it means. We may have this mess, but we don't have to run from it. We can find a way to be in it and not let it consume us. So we have help. We got a posse behind us, all around us. And lately, many times, I have done what I could do, and then I let it go. And I feel guilty letting it go because I think I should keep trying, I should keep working on it, I should do this, and then that, and then this, and I should call them 50 million times because they didn't call me back when they said they would. And I think, okay, I'm stopping. I bought the ticket. I'm going to let Spirit do the rest. And although it doesn't happen all the time like this, it does happen. It does happen. Spirit says, I got you, girl. I got you. And I got this. And then things work out. They just work out. And when I'm going through hell, that can be like the fear. In the song, Rodney says, face that fear, that fire, and walk right through it. You know, you see the fire, you don't want to go anywhere near it. Something I read this morning says that it was about a writer. And he said, and he wrote the Underground Railroad. He's a black writer. Unfortunately, I forgot his name. He wrote the Underground Railroad, and he's gotten 2 Pulitzer Prize awards for writing. And he said it took him years to write the Underground Railroad because he didn't feel he had the writing skills to do this book. And it's a book about slavery with a fantastical engine train that takes the folks out of slavery. But he said, you know, the thing you're scared, the most afraid of, going ahead and doing it is a good idea. Okay. Sometimes that's a good idea, sometimes we're not up to it. But with these little things, face that fire and walk right through it. Just, again, you might get out, but the devil even knows you're there. So when we are in the midst of challenge and upset and fearful, disappointing, scary, oh my God situations, one little step at a time, just one little step, one little thing to help get you where you want to go. Trusting that you got game, you got a posse. There is a power within and all around that is working with us, as us, and through us. And we do have to ask for what we want. We have to be clear, have an intention. Okay, I want the highest and best for all concerned. It actually can't be, I want the highest and best for me, and the heck with everybody else. That kind of works against what we're trying to be in the universe. So the highest and best for all concerned includes the highest and best for me. We have to ask for what we want. That means we have to be clear on what it is that we want. And then in the process of asking for that, we have more power in our requests. We expect people to know what we're thinking. My mother I used to ask her, what do you want for your birthday? And she wouldn't tell me because I should know. I don't know. What do you want? Well, it'd be a lot easier to do it if I could just know what you wanted. Finally, I just got good at guessing. But why put people through that? Go ahead and say what it is you need, and then work around highest and best for all concerned. So those angels that are all around, first we have to recognize them as angels. They may be the person who's prodding us to get something done. Or they may, I've had so many examples lately, I can't even think of one. Just, I don't know, people calling up and saying, hey, how you doing? Or someone paying it forward. My niece got a reward for finding someone's wallet and tracing them down and getting it back to them. And it's a long story, but the person's grandparents were so thankful that they gave my niece a monetary reward. And then she and I went to the grocery store to buy groceries for my dad and a few for myself, and she paid it forward by paying for the groceries. I was totally prepared to do that, but she did it. And I called her my angel. Because at that time, it was a very difficult time. And we were trying to figure out what to do with my dad's situation. And that little gesture of kindness and caring really touched my heart. So there are these angels out here doing stuff for us all the time in one way or another. Spirit is showing up and saying, hello, I'm here, I see you, I've got you. We just need to recognize it and be thankful for it. And let the universe and however it's coming to us know, like all my dad's neighbors are concerned about him and they send him a card. They're angels saying, we see you, we care. He's a tough old bird, but I know that touches his heart too. It certainly touches mine to know that the neighbors are watching and that they care. I think that's a good thing. So being willing to keep on moving, being willing to ask for what you need, being willing to accept it, and most important, being willing to take care of yourself through these difficult times. Go ahead, be a little selfish, take that time out, walk away, go on a trip, go to the spa, whatever it is you do to take care of yourself. Buy chocolate ice cream with pralines. Mine. Do take care of yourselves. Do pray. Do visualize. Do meditate. Do trust. Trust that you got a posse. Trust that there are angels all around. Trust that a bigger power, more intelligent, more powerful, way more than we are, has got our back. Trust in all of that. And finally, have patience and allow things to unfold. So I'd like Michael to play the last song. thank you this morning for being here.
There are some things that go better together. Like your workplace benefits and retirement savings. With Voya, considering all your financial choices together can help you make smarter decisions.
Voya, well planned, well invested, well protected.
Another commercial.
There's a skip button there.
Yeah, we can skip it from there. Oh.
Practitioner Stephanie will close us out.
Oh, yes. So let's take a deep breath in. And just allowing that breath to settle within our bodies. And in that breath is the breath of God. And so we stand in this knowingness that God is absolutely all that there is, and that we are one with this power, we are one with this presence. And so in that knowingness, we know that love is abound. As we just settle back into God's loving arms, we know that all is handled. We know we have our posse, and that we can stand in the place of asking for what we want, knowing that it is done. Standing in the all is well, knowing that God has our back, knowing that whatever it is we're going through, we are going through it. It is not here to stay. And so let us celebrate our lives, let us celebrate who we are, let us celebrate the love that we have for ourselves, the love we have for others, and know that it's reason to celebrate. For love is strong, the love is here, the love is permeating through every cell of our bodies, because we are deserving. And let us stand in this knowingness that it's already done, that all is well, that God is right here present, guiding, leading, and directing. And let us enjoy the ride. And so I'm giving thanks. I'm giving thanks for the reminder of this love of self. I'm giving thanks that we're not doing it alone, and that we remember this. I'm giving thanks for us to just surrender to the power that dwells within us, because it is guiding and directing, and that the highest best is always happening in our lives. So I'm in a place of gratitude. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, that I don't have to do this alone. Never have, never will. I'm giving thanks. And it's in this place of gratitude that I simply release this word to the perfect action of the law. I let it go and I let it be, and I seal this by saying, Ashe,
Ashe.
Amen,
Amen.
and so it is.
And so it is.